We got ourselves a few updates on Thanksgiving, the new slasher movie from Eli Roth, as well as Evil Dead Rise coming out next month. Let's get into it.
Well, sometimes that is better.
So in case you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, let's just do a little recap on that real quick. In the original faux trailer for Grindhouse, produced by Eli Roth, it showcased a pseudo-movie in which a slasher makes his own carving board out of the inhabitants of a Massachusetts town that makes a big fuss over the annual Turkey Day. One of the pivotal scenes involved Roth himself separated from his head while in the throes of passion with a date in a convertible. In layman's terms, he was getting a BJ. It was popular enough at the time that plans were even formulated to make a feature-length blood feast with Roth at the helm. But now 15 years have passed since the original Grindhouse release, and you could be forgiven for thinking that Thanksgiving was never coming. But now Eli Roth and Jeff Rendell, who actually played the killer in the original short or, trailer thing, they're back, they're writing the script, and Eli Roth is directing. He's getting his hands back into the horror game. While I am very excited for Eli Roth's Borderlands, it was a game I used to play as a kid, I can't wait for it. It's got an awesome cast. Cool. Can't wait for it. It's gonna be great. Eli Roth has always been at his best when he's doing horror, so this makes me even more excited. A big update today is that Gina Gershon has joined the cast. The cast for Thanksgiving features Addison Rae, Patrick Dempsey, Jalen Thomas Brooks, Milo Manheim, Gina Gershon, Tim Dillon, Rick Hoffman, and Nell Verlek. If you have not seen that faux trailer, I recommend literally all of the Grindhouse trailers because they're all ridiculous, super campy, and super funny. This is all super exciting news, and I can't wait for this crazy slasher film. Now I'm gonna be on the lookout for Edgar Wright's Don't and also Rob Zombie's Werewolf Woman movie. Y'all better be making those, that's all I'm gonna say. On to our next big horror story, we gotta talk a little bit about Smile 2. When I heard that puppy made $217 million worldwide, I knew a sequel was inevitable, and we finally got confirmation of that this week. THR reports that Parker Finn has signed a multi-year first look deal with Paramount Pictures. A Smile sequel is one of the priorities. The article also notes lips are sealed as far as deal details go, but Parker is expected to write, produce, and direct features in the horror genre. Paramount CEO Brian Robbins also commented on this, saying, "Smile's breakthrough success is a testament to Parker's unique and fresh filmmaking, and we are thrilled that he will make Paramount his home." More associates from Paramount also added, "Parker knows how to keep people on the edge of their seat, and we're happy that we get to keep scaring audiences together." Now, the last time I talked about a movie that was more than 6 months old, people got mad at me for it, so I'm gonna put a little spoiler warning here. If you have not seen Smile yet, cut ahead to the Evil Dead stuff. This is maybe a hot take, but I don't think that this movie needs to be a franchise. I am here for Smile 2 all day. I'll see it, for sure. But that movie was so good as a standalone, I don't think it needs a continuation. Will Smile 2 make just as much money, if not more money, at the box office than its predecessor? Probably, so that's why it's happening. But at the same time, I don't know if the story needs to go there. I mean, my guess is that we follow all new characters, Sosie Bacon's dead at this point. Maybe we actually do something different for movies like this and we focus on Kyle Gallner's character. We pick up right where we left off. That could be cool. But I'm so worried that this is going to turn into your typical, I know it wasn't PG-13, but your typical PG-13 horror franchise. It's kind of just the same thing every time with brand new characters and we don't really do any setups. It's just, here's the same thing again with new characters. That can work, and I think there are rare instances of that. The Ouija franchise is a big example of it. But most of the times you're like, yeah. The Gallows too, yeah. Smile obviously brings a lot more to the table. With its R rating, it can do a lot more than a PG-13 horror movie, but its premise is very similar to that of a PG-13 horror film. So I'm down for a Smile 2, but don't give me my PG-13 sequel story thing that usually would happen to movies like this. Give me something fresh, Parker. I'm excited to see it. And I'm also excited to see if you do another original in the future too. Now let's get into the main event of this video, Evil Dead Rise, baby. I am so excited for this movie, and it is getting rave reviews after its premiere at South by Southwest last night. On a quick side tangent, I feel like I would be amiss a little bit if I didn't show you this absolutely insane clip from what happened last night.
Schedule the goddamn movie.
What's that?
This movie fucking sucks.
What? That's what happened. Yeah. What are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know, right? What a douchebag. And Ash Williams himself telling him to get the out? That is awesome. That That's the only negative review I've seen of the film thus far, because this guy on Twitter was super amped up about it. Adam on Twitter said, Evil Dead Rise review, beyond terrifying and surprising, a very violent horror pick that keeps you on the edge of your seat and beats you off. This isn't just another scary movie, it's one of the best films ever. Wow, that's high praise. Now on top of that fantastic review, I do want to talk about a critic that I trust wholeheartedly with her opinion, Megan Navarro from Bloody Disgusting. She also got to see the premiere and did a little non-spoiler review on it, although I will say that if you want to know absolutely nothing about this movie, if you're someone who doesn't even see trailers or whatnot, maybe don't continue the rest of this video. It doesn't have spoilers in it necessarily, but it does tell you a little more about like plot beats within the film that maybe you would not want to know before going into it. I wouldn't say there's necessarily any spoilers in this review that I'm going to be talking about, but it does outline a few little details about the film that I think are very interesting. Our lead character, Beth, played by Lily Sullivan, has just found out that she is pregnant and is going to her sister Ellie, who has 3 kids and a little more experience than she does. Beth is a touring guitar tech after all and doesn't have a whole lot of experience with children. Now, real quick side tangent, just real quick again, but I promise it's going somewhere. A big thing about the trailer that has a lot of us Evil Dead fans perplexed is that some of it takes place at a cabin in the woods and then some of it takes place at a high-rise building in LA. How are those two things going to come together in this self-contained Evil Dead movie? Apparently, all of the sequences at this cabin are going to serve as the opening scene of Evil Dead Rise. It also shows that the world of Evil Dead is branching out into some new territory, probably nothing that we know about yet. But I'll tell you what, it has me intrigued. In this review, Megan Navarro praises the gore and the suspense, but says that some of the setups are a little shaky. The new lore that this film assumably sets up to is maybe a little underdeveloped as well. Now, going off of that new lore, another thing that she adds in her review is that Necronomicon 2.0 apparently comes out of the ground via an earthquake in Los Angeles. It's the sequel to the Necronomicon, a sequel we've all been looking for a long time. They wrote that book a long time ago, like fucking hundreds of years ago, so I'm glad we have a sequel now. I can imagine that a concept this ambitious would maybe be a little shaky in its setup, but could smooth out over some sequels in time. It seems like they're setting up a big new story in the Evil Dead universe though, which has me excited more than anything, even if the setup to it is a bit shaky. Once again, I have yet to see the film yet, this is just what I'm reading on the internets. For me, I'm a simple guy. I just want to see a good Evil Dead movie, honestly. That's all I really care about from this film. If it's setting up a whole franchise of things, we're doing Evil Dead, the requel essentially, cool. Hell yeah, I'm here for it. It seems like they haven't lost sight of what an Evil Dead film is at its core though, which has me the most excited about Evil Dead Rise. That, in my opinion, will personally satisfy me. If some of the lore is a little shaky or uneven or, you know, just not consistent with some of the other movies, well, you know, the show, Evil Dead 2013, they've all kind of gotten things a little loosey-goosey. This is something that doesn't really bug me all that much as long as the movie itself is good and they take it to new areas and new heights. Because sometimes you gotta break some rules if you're gonna do that for a franchise. A la Scream 6. I'm here for it. I'm super excited for Evil Dead Rise. I can't wait to see what they do with it. And listen, at the end of the day, film is subjective. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. Some people aren't going to like it, and that's cool. But if you're gonna be a dick about it, Ash Williams himself will tell you to get the fuck out. So don't be a jerk. What do you guys think about Evil Dead Rise, though? Leave me something about it in the comments below.